Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. So we're gonna get into this. I got interrupted by a spam call. I do make these videos off of my phone, so got interrupted by a spam call, so we're just gonna pick this up and just dive right back into it. I'll lay more cards on top of this as well. The first card that came out was Pneuma, breath. And so right now there seems to be a significance about needing to remember to breathe. This is carrying for me, because I didn't actually feel like I should read from the book. It's carrying for me kind of like a hold my beer energy. Like there's something here that's coming. There's something that we know we're about to experience. And you just got to remember to breathe. You just got to remember to like take it day by day, to take it step by step. What this thing is that's coming is actually, whether it looks like it or not, it's actually the Empress energy. The Empress energy is, for me, it's striking me as a challenge. It's a challenge to grow, a challenge to expand. And what's happening here instead is what we're going through is this Page of Cups into the King of Swords. This for me is like a little unstable energy, right? The Page of Cups has no business conflagrating with the King of Swords. So when this is happening, there's trouble in paradise. There's something going on. So with the Page of Cups, what this is telling me is somebody's having certain emotions kind of stir up that is really putting them in this overthinky energy, maybe even like a neurotic energy, maybe catastrophizing something, right? Like, oh God, this is amazing, but it's never going to work out. It never works out for me. Or like, you know, how could I ever achieve that thing? Or am I really going to do this? Why would I do this? This is not going to work out. What am I doing? I see this a lot in people who branch out and start their own businesses for the first time, you know, because we're all kind of conditioned that you have to get your check from the man and you have to have the 9 to 5. And if you don't do those things, then you're out on your own, and like that's just not stable. It's not a stable thing to do, right? And so someone here, you may be struggling with things like that, or maybe like you're an aunt and you're starting to babysit like your new nephew, and that whole dealing with a child is making you have to deal with some inner child things. You're realizing some things are coming up from your own childhood that make you really sad, right? Things like that. There's something here that is causing us to expand and grow, quite possibly adopt new skill sets, or learn to take the image that had come to me when I was shuffling my decks was a bike ditching the training wheels. It's like we're learning to be more independent, which is why I am very in love with the fact that the 9 of Pentacles is what showed up on the bottom of that deck. The 9 of Pentacles, if you're not aware, is a self-made man or woman. She doesn't really need anybody else. She makes her own money. She tends to her own garden. She's got her own little hawk that spies on the villagers. Like she's got her own thing going for her, and she's quite independent. So with this energy, I think that someone is really struggling with their own systems of independence. And it's not to say that you're not independent, but you don't seem to believe that you are, right? I'll put it that way. This is imposter syndrome, or it is just feeling like if this worked out for anyone, it works out for really strong, tough people. It would never work out for someone like you, who's soft and considerate and you know, gentle inside. And so we are really kind of stepping up to the plate to embrace something new here. And whatever it is, it's got somebody kind of in their feels. So the message that's coming through is to remember to breathe. You may even be practicing breath work at this time. Why is the breath so important? Well, it's so important because it carries energy and it energizes us, right? Oxygen does a lot of things for the physical vessel that are important. And, you know, it helps our blood to like carry the energy needed to cells. And there's something about function that's coming in, right? How do we perform a function? Not just that body's function when it interacts with energy and with oxygen, but also how do we function in the 3D when we're combating energies like this, right? When there's a destabilization taking place between what we know we need to do and what we feel we're capable of, how do we really function? Probably not the best. And so by focusing on the breath, you're symbolically telling your subconscious that what we're doing is we're improving our own function. So the focus on the breath is actually very important to this reading for whoever this message is for. Yeah, there's a lot of reckless energy here, okay? So someone here, make sure that you don't fall into this overthinking and disbelieving in yourself so much that you sabotage yourself. Because with the presence of this sort of imbalance here, coupled with the Knight of Swords and with the 7 of Pentacles, this makes me feel like someone is waiting for the shoe to drop. okay? So there's this energy of waiting for the shoe to drop. Someone here, you may be focusing on rewiring this sort of thinking inside of your life. And if you are, I think that's amazing, because when we have this sort of energy of waiting for the shoe to drop, it really prevents us from manifesting things that we desire into our life. We as people, we have the ability to manifest almost magically. And it's really our thoughts, our beliefs, our structures, and our perceptions of the world that prevent that. And if you can get into a habit of really energizing yourself with your breath and becoming attuned with everything that's around you through it, and allowing those stories and those narratives and those false identities to kind of fade away in the moment, you'll be very surprised how much you're able to manifest for yourself, especially through visualization, if you visualize, or through feeling. Now, here with the Two of Wands, there's a decision someone has to make. There's an old version of ourselves, and then there's the new version of ourselves. The old version of ourselves was a little watery, maybe a little chaotic, didn't necessarily know how to get things done. The new version of ourselves has this orange Martian glow, right? This Jupiterian expansion energy. And so there's something here about getting down to business inside of your life. Maybe this is going out and taking a class for a position that you really want. Maybe this is finally getting all the affairs in order that you need to in order to feel like you're accomplishing something. Maybe this is really just doing the emotional work that you've been putting off. Someone here is getting down to business. And there may even be something that you agreed to or were asked to do that is starting to scare you a little bit. So for example, maybe you were asked to be in management at work and you have no idea how to manage people. And so this may be what's imbalancing you. It's going to be something like that, where we're asked to live just outside of our own identity, in a position that maybe we feel is higher than our own. And the truth of it is that the glass ceiling doesn't really belong there, right? That self-imposed glass ceiling doesn't really belong there. Someone's being challenged by life to open up their lens of themselves. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Oh, I would not have expected this deck, but this is the one we're gravitating towards, so let's do it. Pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. So what's standing out to me here is that your vibration is rising, and that's kind of what I'm seeing. You're being asked to occupy a space that feels like it's greater than your own, right? Oh, I could never do that. I don't have the skill set. So, or I don't know how to do that because I'm not good at that. So it's something that we view as like being a little bit above us. And someone here, you're on a trajectory where this is the identity that you're becoming. You're starting to learn how to adopt these things. You have to take the training wheels off, right? You have to learn how to ride the bike. So this imbalance that's taking place, it's okay. Honor that you feel that way, recognize that you feel that way, but also understand that this comes from an old storyline. It's because there's still an old storyline that's in there. And you just have to remember to breathe, right? Take things slowly, take them one day at a time. It's good to grow. It's good to allow yourself to grow. I feel that whoever this message is for, whatever's taking place, is probably something that you actually asked for. And you may not have asked for it in the exact way that it's taking place, but it's something that you asked for. It's almost like, now that I got it, what do I do? Okay. And then we have trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? And I think that's kind of the point, right? To get outside of our limiting thinking and no longer thinking that I can't, or that's not going to work out, or the other shoe is going to drop, and to just trust that, oh, this is where the path is taking me. So if I have that trust and I free up my energy and I allow myself to occupy more of my own energetic space, what would I do in it? I'm gonna tell you something about this, right? So this is a very important question. When we think about being supported, what would we do? If we had all the money in the world, what would we do in terms of with our time and our energy? What would we do that we love? The question of, if you didn't have to worry about any kind of box holding you in, what would you do? This is huge. This is a really big question, because oftentimes we find that the answer to that thing is exactly not what we're doing, right? And when we can see that and we can break it down, we can understand that we've got oh, that wouldn't work out because of this, and I don't have enough for this, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. Rather than investing the energy that we take and arguing with the very thing that our soul actually wants, what we actually want as people, if we took all that energy that we take arguing with it and we put it into ways to figure out ways around it, right? Solutions, so that we can do the thing. Most of us would be very, very, very happy people, because it's possible, right? You hear that old saying, where there's a will, there's a way. In most instances, that's true. We're the only one holding ourselves back. I say it all the time on this channel. Life is exceptionally simple. We as people, we're the ones that complicate it. And that's not to say that bad things don't happen, right? That's not to say that sometimes you're handed like a really shit deck, because sometimes you are. But for the majority of people, we stand in our way so often that we go our entire lives without realizing how we're sabotaging ourselves. And this reading is trying to tell somebody that that lens that you have, that thing that you are having that imbalance about, what if that wasn't true? What would you do? What would you do if there was nothing wrong with you? If you were fully capable, imagine for a minute you were fully capable, what would you do? What would life be like? How would you handle the situation? Because the truth of the matter is, even if you don't feel that you have that skill set, you are able to grow into it. You're able to learn it. If you don't have, the ability to think that maybe the other shoe won't drop, think what if this works out, right? Allow that to be the thing that keeps going through your head. What if this works out? Small ways to change that vibration. Remember, use your breath. So whoever this message is for, I'm going to leave this here. It's rather short. I hope this resonates with you. If it does, feel free to hit that like button. Feel free to leave me a comment. And until next time.